Hi, I'm David from TSI Consulting Services. TSI specializes in training and consulting for networking, virtualization, and infrastructure solutions. In this series, we're going to talk about virtualization, and specifically VMware virtualization. Virtualization allows a company to minimize hardware and admin costs. Virtualization allows flexible provisioning and disaster recovery. One of the virtualization solutions available in the industry is VMware Vsphere 6. Vsphere 6 is VMware's latest hypervisor to date. This video is part one in a series of videos about VMware Vsphere 6. In this video, I will show you how to install VMware ESX6. For flexibility, we will install ESX6 inside VMware Workstation rather than a bare metal install.
In this video, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the ESX hypervisor in VMware Workstation. I'm going to create a new virtual machine right here. Pick custom on this right here. Now I'm using VMware Workstation 11, but of course you can use VMware Workstation 2. Now I'm going to do is at this point I'm going to do is I'm going to point to my VMware installation ISO. I'm not going to pick easy install, and I'm going to go in here and then wherever I'm going to install it, pick the default. Now in the system I have here, it's one socket with 4 cores on here. Now keep in mind the minimum for a VMware requires a minimum of at least 2 cores. It can be one processor with 2 cores. A minimum memory, of course, is 4 gig. What I'm going to, on this one right here, I'm going to do is make it a bit higher to make the install go in faster. You can change this at any time. Now, of course, the kind of networking that we're going to use in this just depends on what you need on your installation on here. I'm going to pick these defaults on here. I'm going to create a new virtual disk. Now I'm going to give it 100 gig. Depends on your environment. Now, of course, you can do is collect all this space now. Now, if you do that, that has the advantage. The space will be available and it won't be fragmented. I'm going to do this one where allow it to grow, but I'm going to do it as a single file. If we do it here as multiple files, this is just for FAT32 compatibility. It's much better to do it as a single file, but it must be on NTFS. Going in here. Now I'm going to customize the hardware on here. So network adapters on here. I'm going to do is this. I need to add some more onto here. I'm going to actually do is add, I need 6 of them for this right here actually. Connected on power up. This other one here I said host only, but actually I'm going to do it on bridge. Replicate. I'm going to add another one on here. So I need a total of 6 network adapters. Now the difference between whether I'm going to use bridged and host only just depends on your assignment. But of course, if I use it on bridged, then I can talk to it throughout the network, and all the IPs and everything must be unique within your network right here. So I have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want one more, and then we'll be done. Great on here. And the other thing is in the processor, I have to make sure that I virtualize this. Otherwise, I can't install a hypervisor inside a hypervisor, which of course is called a nested hypervisor. All right, great. I have this here, ESX6, Station 11 on here. How much memory bridge? I have 6 network cards. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to power it on, and let's see how we go in here. Now, okay, I'm ready to install here. Now I can go F1 and press on details. It'll tell me a little bit about the disk. At this point right here, I'm going to do is now I'm going to press enter to continue to do install US English. Now the root password. Hopefully now I'm going to put the other password on here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead with the install. Okay, at this point now I'm going to install. It's ready to install. This does not actually take so long. Okay, at this point right here, I'm going to reboot. It's been installed. Great. At this point right now, what's starting to do is it's loading all the drivers and everything, all the modules and drivers on here. So, and after this, of course, once again, it tells you how much memory, how many processors and so forth, version, build number, etc. As you can see at this point right now, we can see from there that the IP address is DHCP, and this is when I can manage it. Now, of course, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to do F2, and I'm going to log on into it right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the IP address of it. I'm going to make it into a static. And I'm going to then do is give it, of course, any gateway I need, if that's indeed what I want. Great. Now, and then any DNS, I'm going to set up in here, for example, whatever it might be. On this one right here. Now, I could set it up courses on this one right here. Now, I'm going to do is use this. I have an AD box in here. And I'm going to do is also set up another one for redundancy on here. This one is set to my gateway right here. Now, the name of this one here, I'm going to call it ESX1 because it's the first one in here right now. Press enter. Now, I'm going to set up the DNS suffix right here. So I'm going to do at this point right here is I'm going to set up the name of my domain. So I've set up that here. I've set up my DNS servers on here. I set up my IP address. And then, of course, when I want to change it, you want to, yes, apply changes and restart the management networks on here. Okay, so at this point right here, now I'm ready to go on to the next point, downloading. I'm going to install the VIC client. So at this point right here, the next thing I'm going to do, now that I've installed the ESX, I set the IP address, I'm going to connect to it with my web browser, download the Vsphere Client, which is called the Vsphere Infrastructure Client, that's VIC, and then afterwards I'll go to the next point. So I put in the IP address and let's press enter and see what it does. It tells me there's a problem, of course, because it's a self-signed server in here. Okay, so we can see in this one right here, great. Now let's look at some of these ones here. This one right here, you're going to have to go to VMware to do it. It's not local. This one, local. This one, VMware, or actually our third-party marketplace. And this one right here, so some other ones here, and then this one's also going to browse the data store. This one you can actually see if you had any NFS and so forth like this. So I'm going to download the Vsphere client for Windows right here. So at this point, I'm going to do is download it now. So I've connected with my web page to the ESX host, and I'm doing this here. I'm doing my download right here. Okay, so now that I've downloaded the client, I'm going to do is install the client on mine that's going to allow me, and we call this the VIC. Since I already had the older version of Vsphere Client on it, I'm going to do an upgrade on it. I'm going to uninstall my Vsphere Client and put the new one on here just to make sure. Now the Vsphere client has already been installed, so we're going to go on to the next phase of it. what I'm actually going to do is connect using this Vsphere client. Okay, now that I've entered this, the IP address or name of it if I'm using DNS or a host file, I'm going to connect, yes, and then we'll see. Hopefully all goes well. We'll see over here, connected. There's a message about the email. Okay, so now I've done is I've connected here. You can see by the IP address. I can look at the summary on it and it'll tell me a little bit about the machine here. Tells me how many CPUs. It's in eval mode. 1 socket, 4 cores. We need a minimum of 2 cores. FT is not how much memory. Okay, we're using 1 data store on here. We have network. Notice it says 6 on here right now. We have no VMs powered on here. And we look at the configuration one right here. And so forth on here. We can just take a look at it all here. And we can just see everything. So at this point right here, as you can see, I've done is we've successfully installed ESX. We've downloaded the VIC and installed it, and then we've connected to it using the VIC. This will continue. This will end this video. So as mentioned, I've done is I've installed ESX onto here. I've done is configured it, set its IP addresses, then connected to it with a web browser, downloaded the VIC, installed it, connected to the host, and now you can see we can do it and use it to manage it. This will conclude this video on installing ESX6. Thank you.
We have installed Vsphere 6. We have downloaded and installed the Vsphere Infrastructure Client and used it to connect to the ESX host. Stay tuned for more videos about Vsphere, other virtualization solutions, and networking and infrastructure. Don't forget to visit davidpapkin.net. Please like this video and share it with your friends and colleagues. Again, this is David. Thank you for watching and see you soon.